Welcome to Bullshit TV. I'm your host. Okay, the bullshit on today's docket is the reparations thing. You know what I'm saying? The reparations talk is starting to gain a little steam. You know what I'm saying? More studies is being talked about. Some negotiations is going through. You know what I'm saying? They're not reporting it on the news. It's not up in your news feed like that because they want as less people to know about it, the less payouts. You know what I'm saying? So it is in progress. You know what I'm saying? Reparations, talk and these groups and shit has been around since the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? So some cities and states are paying out some sort of reparations, but at this point it's still early. And if your state or your county is trying to make some type of payout, you know what I mean, it's something could be very, very small and minute. Um, let's just say the monetary value, they'll try to monetary the value out. You feel what I'm saying? So they might offer $12,000 for reparations. You feel what I'm saying? So that is some sort of reparations, but like I said, it's still kind of early to determine because you got to go through lineage, all that shit, the ownership of them, what they had, how much was it worth back then, and what it would equal out to now. Just certain things that will help the process become smoother. You know what I'm saying? Because they got ancestry and all this shit where you can very well find your lineage and get reparations. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit is going down with Barbados. They going at some actor, I think. He got a weird ass last name, man. Like I said, people with weird last names like that just keep saying it and you'll get a fucked up word from it. You feel what I'm saying? So, but anyway, even Barbados, they going through this reparations thing, and this actor or whatever, he might be some type of artist, but they taking his ass to court. They calling him out by name, so that's a start right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's the issue with reparations. We don't know who owe who. You feel what I mean? Because everything has started coming out over the years, definitely after the Tulsa race massacre riot or whatever. It wasn't a riot between the whites and the blacks. It was basically white people came in and destroyed the land and ran the people out. The story was under the dirt, literally, for 100 years. And the victims, that was children at the time, that actually witnessed this, and that was able to tell what they remember to the best of their ability. That's how I'm looking at it, because 100 years to hold that, well, not 100, we'll say 50, 60 some years, because they were children. Well, could be 100 years, because some of them people was 106. So they could have been anywhere from 6 to maybe 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? So they knew what happened, and the black community didn't talk about it. They didn't pay out the insurance that covered it, because they said it fell into a riot, which it was not. And they stole the land, and then they buried people, unmarked graves, to cover up the lies that they did. So shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? But like I said, back to Barbados, they know who's responsible and who they seeking money from is this man and the actor. So the actor's mother even told him, don't publicize the name, because she knew back in her day, or whenever she decided to tell her son, her nephew, whatever family blood lineage that they have together, she knew then that if that people can come for them and for their money, because they was part of that structure to what it is today. So I said all of this to say this. Even though the reparations has been around for a while, don't just take any and whatever they offer, because what that does is, after this goes on for a little bit longer, and the reports become a little bit smoother, you may be entitled to more money. You know what I'm saying? Because they only can give which I do understand because all the shit has been hidden from the Black community and from the world. So they really have to get to digging to see who is actually a descendant of a former slave, well, a slave back in those times, and then they see what the prices was, and then it's a bunch of process just in case they do have land that's owed to them. They have to now notify the people that's on that land, like they want their land back, and you have to give it back because it was stolen. So $12,000, it might be a come up, a little simple come up, but that could be a default from you to actually getting what it's, because the $12,000, after more digging into, that issue, you can be entitled to $100,000. So if they offering something, that means it's a bigger price to pay. Because you know what I'm saying? They was like, oh, we gave them recreations. That's where you think that $12,000 came from. That was recreations. You feel what I'm saying? And people are starting to get land back, just like the people over there, the family over there in California. They ancestors or their great grand people or whoever own the beachfront over there in California. So it's taken from them in some dirty ass process. And they eventually got it back, but they end up selling it right back to the city, which I'm very, very upset about, but it's not my property. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I would have tried my damnedest to go fund me like a motherfucker. You feel me? People that's out there and actually knows what's going on. I think they could have been able to keep for the family, you know what I'm saying? Do something else you wanted to do with it, you know what I mean? You could have turned that shit into a shopping center, you know what I'm saying? When festivals come in town, charge them to use your plot of land, it was ways around it, but I understand you at least got it back and you could put that in the history. That changes Black culture right there. That changes and helps us because that tells us who we are as a people, you know what I'm saying? We are productive people of the United States. Because it's in our genes. We know it, but it's lost people out here just don't know how to go about hustling their way of getting the foot in the door. You know what I'm saying? Because it could change like that. Give the right person the opportunity. You call it a handout, whatever. Give them the right opportunity. They could change everything. You know what I'm saying? They just need a chance, a fair shot. You know what I mean? And a little understanding, but that's what it is. So, like I said, reparations is being talked about. Reparations is being dispersed, but just be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it could just, like I said, it could just default you out what could be bigger. Because like I said, even though the shit been around for, I would say decades, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to, don't leave no money on the table. You know what I'm saying? Like what Rick Ross say, don't leave no money on the table. So just be patient, get a plan, because once you realize and you understand that you are due for some type of reparations, just hold out. You know what I'm saying? Recognize what's going on, make a plan if you haven't had one, and execute that plan. Do not shit away these opportunities, because that's what they betting on. Because now, racism with the police because of the George Floyd, then the shit with the massacre, you know what I'm saying, in Tulsa and other things. It's becoming the news of the world. This is not fake news. It's the truth. It is very long ago, but we have not corrected those issues. So once you correct those issues and be able to talk it out and be able to come up with a fair decision, that's when we can move past as it's history, because it's been corrected. It was people was held accountable for their actions, all that shit. So because reparations can look different in different forms. It doesn't just have to be monetary, but we love some money. I mean, who wouldn't? You know what I'm saying? But don't just all, when they come to the table, you got to have your plot and your plan ready. You know what I'm saying? The next 25 years, I don't pay fucking taxes. I don't pay state taxes or federal taxes or all taxes. And then my child can go to school full time. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. And they just give it out 401k, but you still can't take it out to a certain age. When Social Security roll around, quadruple what they get. So if at the 65, all they is induced to is $1,200 a month times 5. You feel what I'm saying? So it's ways that reparations can be repaid. You know what I'm saying? A public apology. Put schools back for Black people. Make laws for Black people to specifying that, because even though we have the affirmative action and all this shit, it kind of cut away the bigger picture. Black people being treated just like a normal person. If you do wrong, you do wrong, and you go to jail. You know, not falsely, not on a whiff, on a maybe, or just, profiling. It's because you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? So reparations can come into different fashions. Wipe away some debt. You know what I mean? If it's over certain, whatever, give licenses back. Gretchen Whitmer has been doing that, so that's awesome. So it's different ways for reparations. Give us some land. Give those Black farmers their land back. You know what I'm saying? Give them some help. You know what I mean? Open up some of them hospitals that I know the government had a part in closing down. Revive the Black Panther Party. Shit like it's. I'm not nowhere near politician status, but I can come up with shit off the top of my head to repay these problems. It's okay. I'm not saying people out here owning slaves and shit, but you've benefited from that shit. So it's time for us to benefit, because your lazy people couldn't do it back then and they had other people do it. So let's keep it real. So, yep, that's my take on it. Like I said, if your city or your town try to spring up reparations, I'm telling you, they're going to start at the lowest to the low, because shit is still getting figured out. You know what I'm saying? And you need to do your own research and get your heritage lineage, even though I want to do it, but I'm afraid, you know what I'm saying? Not afraid of, because they using this shit. They using your DNA to close other cases that ain't got shit to do with you. You feel what I'm saying? So, but you need to know who you are, you know what I'm saying, for reparations to be, and you go at that shit. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of Black organizations that's willing to help pro bono, to get started at least, because everybody gotta get their cheese, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, don't take the first option. That's what I say. Just sit on it, because it's owed to you, so it's going to be there. So we're gonna sit on it and see what it does, because it's a lot more where it came from, and that's just acknowledging that you're owed something. That's how they're looking at it, as a default. Or we gave them something and they took it. So don't just take it right away. Wait it out, and then that's when it's breaking news that they can't even hide this shit. They can't even try to be low key. That's when you go in and you take your shit. Breaking news. Whatever administration is giving out reparations to Black and indigenous Black people, all that shit. We want this to be breaking news. No cover up, no none of that shit. Because it's going to happen, because they're doing it now. People just not talking about it. But they know what it is. Till next time.